And I've got good news for you, ladies and gentlemen. We are here live on Resolution Retro, the Blizzard Blast edition, because we're going to talk about ECW's Big Apple Blizzard Blast, a pay-per-view. The first of 1996. But today, we're going to be doing the History Corner. We're going to be doing the History Block with our man. He is your historian of all things wrestling, Tori. And I am joining him as the ruler of all hosts, Donovan Cartwright. How you doing, Mr. History himself, Tori?
I am doing so wonderful on this Blizzard edition, even though it's 70 degrees here in Georgia.
It's like 30. It's 36 here. It's 36 here, my friend.
Wow. Damn, that's cold. That's cold, bro.
Yeah.
That's too cold. You can catch my drift.
Too cold, Scorpio. Wait, what? But we do have a good show lined up.
We did him a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, we did. That's why I brought him up. But we have a good show for you, so do you want me to go ahead and get started?
Let's get started, brother.
Okay.
What were you doing first? ECW?
WWF Raw.
Oh boy, here we go.
We're gonna do WCW last because they did win last week. We saw Shawn Michaels and Diesel versus the British Bulldog and Yokozuna with Jim Cornette.
We had Diesel and Michael versus the Bulldog and Orton.
Yes, sir. Yokozuna and Davey Boy Smith.
This is a very interesting feud because you got two members of the Hart family. With, Davey Boy, rest in peace.
No, it's Yokozuna and Davey Boy Smith.
Oh, well, my bad. Yokozuna and Davey Boy. They're rest in peace to both these guys. Two great wrestlers from two distinct families.
Versus Big Daddy Cool Diesel and the heartbroke geezer Shawn Michaels. Please don't come back.
Dudes with attitude.
Yep.
They're dudes with attitude.
Yep.
I don't know. And this is hard to call because both teams have one big guy. Well, one team got two powerhouses, and the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, and over 500-pound Yokozuna. So they have the weight advantage over Diesel and Shawn Michaels, which only combined weight of over 500+ pounds. Being that Diesel is 7 foot tall, 300+ pounds. So I'm gonna have to get the edge. When it comes to speed and quickness, I'm going to have to get the edge with Diesel and Michael because of Shawn Michaels. So I'm thinking, knowing Jim Cornette, his team won against dudes with attitude. I could be wrong.
Nope. Dudes with attitudes won.
Wow.
And then we had the 1, 2. Then we had the 1, 2, 3 kid with Ted DiBiase versus Haikushi.
This is when 1, 2, 3 kid became heel, his first heel run. When he stabbed Razor Ramon in the back and joined up with the $1 million man Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
Taking on a Japanese legend like Hakushi who really basically a jobber in the WWF, which is pathetic, but I'm going with the kid over Hakushi.
He's not even a Japanese legend.
Well, in some people's eyes, he's a Japanese legend. I'm just saying. Now, I'm just saying, some people he's a Japanese legend though. He's not as big of a legend like Inoki or the Great Muda or people like that, but yeah.
No, he ain't a legend. He mostly is known for his WWF jobber work and his brief run in ECW.
Yep. That's all he did.
And you already know the 1, 2, 3 kid. Suck it! Won.
Of course he won. I said the kid won.
That's what I said, of course you know. Alright, before we do the main event, we do have like 4 segments this night, okay? We had a segment with Jim Cornette and Clarence Mason, aka Jay Biggs on WCW.
I remember him.
He was an attorney, threatening to sue WWF if Big Van Vader, wasn't reinstated. Then we had a segment where we featured Gorilla Monsoon on choosing Rowdy Roddy Piper as his temporary replacement, as well as the thought of having Vader reinstated. And we also had a second segment which included Billionaire Ted, which was supposed to be Ted Turner. They're poking fun at him at a press conference.
Let me guess, with Hogan and Savage, Harrison?
No, it was just Billionaire Ted. It featured a closing statement in which a print ad was shown, which was run several major newspapers, claiming Ted Turner was wasting millions of stockholder dollars in his personal vendetta against the WWF. That was our segments. We got 3 segments of bashing WCW, threatening to sue WWF, and then Gorilla Monsoon naming Rowdy Roddy Piper as the on-screen general manager. Because
that was interesting.
Because Vince McMahon was a commentator. Do what I tell you or you're fired, yeah. Hey, Ralph.
That was the beginning of the war between Nitro and...
We was just talking about the dudes with attitudes defeating Davey Boy Smith, Yokozuna, and the 1, 2, 3 kid versus defeating Hakushi. We haven't gotten really deep into the show yet. And just WWF bashing. I haven't gotten to that yet. We will be talking about that. Right now, we're just talking about how they're wasting promo time on bashing Ted Turner. But for the main event, Tori, we had a good one. We had the WWF Championship match. Undertaker versus Bret the Hitman Hart, who was the champion.
Dang. Ooh, this is a tough one.
And you had Undertaker's manager, who wanted to let Bret Hart know, no one can beat my Undertaker.
Rest in peace. Literally. Rest in peace to Paul Bearer. And I mean that literally. But man, this match right here between 2 Hall of Famers, yes, I'm referring to Undertaker as being a Hall of Famer because he's going to the Hall of Fame anyway, so let's get it out the way. 2 Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like,
back then, Ralph, it was a 1-hour show.
Yeah. This one hit real hard to call because you got 2 guys that pretty much set the tone for the early to mid 90s. Bret Hart and The Undertaker.
Montreal Screwjob, yeah.
That was before the Montreal Screwjob, way before that.
Yep, that's like a year away.
I don't know who. I'm trying to think. Yeah. Oh man, this is hard to call.
Well, I'll satiate your appetite by telling you it ended in a no contest. Again. Another shoddy finish.
Wow. Well,
Leading,
I didn't have to say anything, did I?
leading up to their pay-per-view, which is coming up on the next... We'll be doing it next week, because for this, there was a pay-per-view coming.
I say this one pretty...
In Your House 6 is coming up.
Oh, okay. That's when they had the title match again.
Yep. Alright.
Now we become ECW.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Ralph. Nothing has changed. The fans are the authority, they said. Not even 2 months later. Triple H on SmackDown talking shit to Becky Lynch. Shut up, this doesn't concern you, but we're the authority, right? Alright, so that's WWF. To be honest, I'm not even going to wait till after this. This whole show was a waste of time. This whole show was wasted other than the opening match.
Yeah, I know.
I will tell you this, on the next show, WWF decided to be like WCW and have a bunch of dark matches.
Oh, great.
It gets even worse because, I'm not even going to waste your time with that. The dark matches aren't even as good as WCW's. Alright, hi Jamie. Tori is currently muted. Tori? Hang on, Tori. Facebook decided to silence you. Can you talk?
I can talk.
Okay, there we go. Alright, so you ready to move on to ECW?
Yes, before I move on, can Jamie hear me now?
Yeah, that was a dumb segment. Yeah, Jamie can hear you.
Okay, just double checking now. Let's go on to ECW or
Brother.
ECW.
Brother.
Anyway, let's go with ECW, see what they got.
Well, ECW follows the 2-match formula. We saw Cactus Jack and Mikey Whipwreck versus Shane Douglas. Wait, is this the right date? Hang on. Nope. Sorry about that. We covered that last week. Alright, this one sees the Eliminators, John Corus and Perry Saturn, versus Cactus Jack and Mikey Whipwreck for the ECW Tag Team titles.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is Eliminators. This is where the elimination use total elimination to win the tag team titles.
You are absolutely right. They defeated Mikey
Whipwreck. And rest in peace to John Cronus.
Yep. Perry Saturn and John Cronus. And then we saw the main event was Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Juventud Guerrero. Rey was the World Wrestling Alliance World Heavyweight Champion at the time. El Ligero.
Dang. All I got to say about these two guys.
At the time, who was Sandman? Was it Ray? Yeah, Raven was the World Champion. The Eliminators were the Tag Champions. They defeated Mikey Whipwreck and Cactus Jack. And I don't remember who the other champions were, if they had any.
I think, Raven is the ECW World Champion. I think, I forgot who was the television champion at the time.
Yeah, because I don't really have...
I know that the Eliminators just beat Cactus and...
No, this wasn't the one in the parking lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they did. This is when they first won the titles before they kind of just dropped the ball on them, Jamie. But yeah, who do you think?
I think Rey Mysterio beat Huberton.
Yeah, he retained. That was it. You had two good matches here, especially the Lucha Libre. This was when Rey Mysterio was still young.
He was like 19 or 20.
Yeah.
He was really young.
So you already know, without the production value, just by hearing this, ECW's already toppled WWF.
Obviously.
They were just better. I mean, there's not even an argument here.
Obviously. But then remember they had a pay-per-view at the time too. So.
Yeah, we'll be covering that briefly.
Oh, okay.
Because we don't compare it to our weekly comparisons. Now we're going to see what WCW had to offer us. Yeah, Andy had good knees. Thank you, Ralph. So, Monday Nitro. Dark match, dark match, dark match.
Here we go. Let's go on with these dark matches. They get them out the way first.
First dark match was the WCW United States Championship. Devon Storm versus the champion, Conan.
I'm going with Conan.
And because Devon Storm, a.k.a. Crowbar, we all know who that is.
Yep.
And you are correct. Conan retains his belt. Then we saw the Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater versus the Barrio Brothers, Fidel Sierra and Ricky Santana.
Woo! And we're just going to cover Ricky Santana later on, right?
No.
Oh,
Yes.
right.
Yes, actually we are.
I'm going with...
Yes, actually we are. I botched. I was thinking of his actual name. Crowbar.
I'm going with that team.
96, yeah, Ralph. We're talking 96. What was that? I'm sorry, Tori.
I'm going with Slater and his tag team partner. That's what I was trying to get.
You're going with...
Rest in peace to him, too.
You're going to Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater. You are correct. Then we had a dark match of the WCW World Television title. Hey, another title defended in a dark match. We saw the champion Johnny B. Bad versus Diamond Dallas Page.
Now, this is...
Oh, it does sound like a segue.
This don't make no damn sense. For real, man. This match should have been on the main card. And so the United States title should have been on the main card. But, welcome to the WCW. But anyway, I'm going with DDP over Johnny B. Bad.
Johnny B. Bad, you were wrong. Johnny B. Bad retained.
Damn.
Then we get to the main card. We get the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. The Canadian Crippler, Chris Benoit, versus, the champion, Macho Man, Randy Savage, with Miss Elizabeth and Woman.
Oh, boy. Let's see. Woman married to Benoit.
Hi, James.
And I'm definitely going with Savage over Benoit. Benoit hasn't won that title until like 1999.
Fun fact, Kevin Sullivan was also in ECW at this time.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're going to go with Savage retaining?
Yes.
You are correct. Then we saw Hugh Morris and the Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan, versus Arn Anderson and the Flying Brian Pillman.
That's when Brian Pillman was part of the Horsemen.
Yep.
He was known as the Loose Cannon. Oh, man.
And he fought...
I'm going with Brian and Anderson.
You are correct. They won by DQ.
I'm going with Pillman and Anderson. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, they won by DQ.
Of course. Of
Then,
course.
then we saw... Then we saw Marcus Alexander Bagwell, aka Buff Bagwell, versus the Nature Boy, Ric Flair with woman.
Ric Flair.
Yep, easily.
Nope.
And then we see the main event, what's supposed to be the best part of the show. Yeah, this is around today's date.
Who did Hogan face this time?
I agree with that, Jamie. Yeah, the main event is, let me tell you something, brother. I'm not in the main event. I'm not even on the card this week, brother. Instead, it's... And then we saw the WCW World Tag Team Championship. We saw the champions, Lex Luger and Sting, versus the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal.
Ooh, this is a tough one to call. Tough one to call. You got Sting and Luger, two of the greatest single wrestlers during that time, taking on the only tag team before the Steiner brothers, before any of these other teams that ever won titles not only in the United States but in Japan, the Road Warriors. This is hard to call. But if this is a tag team wrestling expertise, I'm going with the Road Warriors.
Ralph, you're right. Corey, you're wrong. You're wrong. You know why?
How?
Because Sting and Luger defeated the Road Warriors to retain their titles.
That's a hard one to call.
And WCW was very unpredictable. ECW had good wrestling, so did WCW. They had a good show. WCW, I'm not even going to say this. This particular week, I'm not even going to go into the review of the shows. It was WCW, ECW, WWF. There was really no arguments at all. WWF was just another filler week, kind of like the shows we're getting now. But, minus the 2 hours of wasted time, we only had to waste an hour of our time. ECW was good. It had 2 matches, but 2 matches that went long. And we had WCW, which, yes, had a bunch of dark matches and 2 titles, but their main card was also very good.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that WCW and ECW kept delivering while WWF just
WWF and WCW didn't do any freaking segments or promos really. They had some vignettes, but again, this is where WCW at this time was not really into their segments and stuff. They were utilizing their hour properly. Yeah, according to Jamie, Hulk Hogan's a real American. He was fighting for the rights to shove steroids up his ass, and he called them vitamins. And when he went into rage, he was saying his prayers, he didn't get arrested.
Yeah.
And called it fighting for the rights of every man. That likes to backstage politic. So, he was fighting for the rights of Shawn Michaels. Because back then, Shawn Michaels was a huge backstage politicker.
Hey, it's true.
So yeah, that was the shows. I mean, do you really have any arguments? WWF was shoddy main event, filler mid-card, just fucking squash match in the middle, and the only decent part was their opening match, and then their segments were mostly centered around, they didn't really evolve any stories. They were mostly just centered around bashing Ted Turner and, bringing Jim Cornette bringing back Vader.
Basically, WWF was just boring. That's it.
It wasn't boring. It was just kind of filler. It was like a filler episode before a pay-per-view. It was to go home, and it was crap.
Yeah, basically a filler. It was just lame.
Yeah.
ECW did a fantastic job with their Mysterio and Hoovy, and also we just crowned a new tag team champion, and I think that's when Cactus Jack was on his way out anyway.
Yeah. And we also had Ricky Santana. We will be talking about him. on History Block, but not yet.
Right. And WCW, I have to admit, was pretty solid this week. WCW was pretty solid. The only thing that gets me was those dark matches that should have been on the main card, but hey, I'm talking about 2 title matches. This is the only thing that hurt in WCW was the 2 championship matches should have been on the main card. That's about it.
You are right.
So I don't know. It's hard to choose between WCW and ECW. That's just my take on it. But
yeah, that's true. That's true. Tom Lawler do. Yeah, he really does. Facebook's fucking up. Tori?
yeah,
Okay. I couldn't hear Tori. Raw really isn't any better, and you're absolutely right, Jamie. Tom Lawler has a great entrance. And I got some news for everyone out there. Raw doesn't have an episode on February 12th, 96. Dog show. Tim Zuckerberg, yeah, exactly. Yep, Raw used to be interrupted back in those days by the dog shows. All right, guys, we're gonna get into the pay-per-view. ECW has a pay-per-view.
Called Blizzard Blast.
This one's called Big Apple Blizzard Blast. Now, I'm going to say this. The first match is a fucking squash match because it's the Shark Attack Kid. I tried to look him up, and he is only redirected from the Dirt Bike Kid. He doesn't even have a profile. Versus Taz.
Taz won, of course.
Yep. And then we had the Headhunters versus Axel Rotten and El Puerto Ricano.
What the hell?
He was also known as Pablo Marquez.
Oh, okay.
You're going with Axel Rotten.
I'm going with Axel Rotten and his tag team partner.
El Puerto Ricano.
Yeah.
Yep, Tom Lawler is the champ, Jamie, and the Headhunters won. Ralph is right. Headhunters A and B won.
What else we got?
We have a ECW Tag Team Champion match, or Tag Team title match between Cactus Jack and Mikey Whipwreck getting a rematch against John Kronos and Perry Saturn, the Eliminators.
No, I'm still going with the Eliminators over Cactus and Whipwreck.
And you'd be right. Then we saw Shane Douglas and Tommy Dreamer versus Raven and Stevie Richards.
Ooh, I'm going with Raven and Richards.
Nope, the franchise, Shane Douglas and the Heart and Soul of ECW, Tommy Dreamer, defeated Raven and Stevie Richards.
Oh, that was shocking.
And that was the longest match on the card. Then we saw Rey Mysterio Jr. versus then champion Juventud Guerrera for the World Wrestling Alliance Welterweight Championship. When on Hardcore TV we saw Rey Mysterio defending his world title.
I'm going with Juventud over Rey.
Nope, Rey Mysterio won the WWA Welterweight Championship, making him a dual champion.
Damn. You go Rey.
Yeah, Stevie took the pin, Ralph. Dr.
Anyway.
Stevie. Then we saw the Pit Bulls versus the Headhunters.
Ooh, tough to call.
Anybody got to venture a guess?
Oh, I'm going with the Headhunter won last time, right?
Yep.
I'm going with the Pitbull this time.
You and Jamie both, and you are correct. Everybody got it all right. The Pit Bulls won. Then we saw Rob Van Dam versus the Golden Lion, Chris Jericho.
Man, oh man, you want to talk about a very good match.
10 minutes and 58 seconds, so 11 minutes.
Ooh. This is hard to call because both these guys are very good at what they do. Both, as you know, had matches in WWE against each other.
Ralph says Jericho. Jamie?
I'm going with Jericho over RVD.
I'm not allowed to pick. Yeah, he was Lionheart, Chris Jericho. This was after the Golden Lion. He was Golden Lion in Japan. This was after that. Who you going with? Jamie says RVD, and I'm gonna let you and Ralph know, Tori, that you're absolutely, positively, and you're not gonna like to hear this, that you're absolutely not wrong. Because it was Jericho. Then we saw Mr. Hughes. Oh, wait, before that, we had a squash match. JT Smith, since y'all obviously don't know who that is, you can guess, Bubba Ray Dudley won in 45 seconds.
Of course. With your bubble bomb, right? Of course.
Then we had Sabu versus Mr. Hughes.
Now,
Predictions. 12 minutes and 30 seconds. 12 and a half minute match.
I got, I'm going with homicidal, genocidal, suicidal, maniac Sabu over this.
The homicidal, genocidal, suicidal, death-defying, Twitter ranting, and hating Sabu.
Yes.
Ralph says Sabu. Jamie. Waiting on Jamie.
Okay.
Oh, if he doesn't respond in a moment, we'll move on. Well, since he might be busy, so I'm going to go ahead and say Sabu won.
Of course.
Then we have your main event of the evening. The Sandman and Too Cold Scorpio versus the Gangstas, Mustafa and New Jack. Hide your wallet.
Oh boy.
Jamie said Sabu.
Man, oh man. Gangsta. Great tag team in Smoky Mountain. Former Smoky Mountain tag team champion. Before going together. Versus another former tag team going together. The Sandman. the Gangster.
All of you said the Gangstas, and all of you are wrong. It was Too Cold Scorpio and the Sandman.
Wow.
I love those little who do you think won because it's fun to know.
I know, right?
Yep, the Gangstas did not win.
Because the Gangster, despite my feelings about
Not yet. They hadn't built it into a feud. If it was, they haven't built that feud, but it was going to turn into one. This was a prequel. This was just called Big Apple Blizzard Blast, so it was more or less kind of a big super card more than a pay-per-view. But yeah, it was still a TV. It was still a pay-per-view thing. Well, they didn't have pay-per-view.
Yeah, it will.
So yeah, that was the 3 shows for the week plus this pay-per-view. So on with another news, Tori, I'm gonna have to turn it over to you for the history block and to reveal your wrestler of the week. We've already revealed it, Ricky Santana.
And people, please don't forget, please don't confuse Ricky Santana to Tito Santana. They're not related. I don't think. But
not that I can see.
Not that I can see either. But Ricky Santana he has literally traveled the world. He has won practically any and every title you could think of.
And also, I just want to point out, he is actually formerly known as, besides Ricky Santana, Aldo Marino, the Hood, Especialista 1, Ricky Barrio, and Ray Phoenix. Yes, you heard me. He was known as Ray Phoenix. Not to be I wouldn't say the original. He was a Ray Phoenix.
Okay.
Tori, I turn the floor over to you.
Well, for what I know about Ricky Santana, he's a great wrestler. He's mostly, he's one of the best tag team guys in the business. I seen him in WCW.
Yes, he was, Jamie. Go ahead, Tori.
I seen him in WCW a few times. And he had a pretty stellar career.
Hang on, guys. I'll be right back. Tori, keep talking. You got 2 people you can cover, and you got a lot you can talk about.
Okay. What I know about Ricky Santana, he's a multiple-time tag team champion in every promotion he has been in. From Japan to Puerto Rico to Mexico. Everywhere he has been, he's mostly a tag team champion. And he's one of the greats. And the thing I can say about Ricky Santana, people still confuse him as being one of Tito Santana's relatives. So I want y'all to know that he's not a relative of Tito Santana. I looked it up. I mean, his title reign is he had a pretty stellar career. He's not the biggest name in wrestling like Tito or any other legend, but he's pretty good. I mean, I'm gonna tell you guys the titles old Ricky Santana has won. See, Ricky Santana was born in November 21st, 1958. He's 60 years old right now. He has, let's look at his professional championship. Okay, Ricky Santana is a former Catch Wrestling Association Tag Team Champion, one time with Black Navy SEAL. He's also an International Wrestling Association Tag Team Champion with Sean Morley or Sean Hill. IWA North American Heavyweight Champion, one time. NWA Hollywood Tag Team Champion with the Spoilers. And Los Angeles Tag Team Champion with Ron Starr, Pacific Northwest heavyweight champion and tag team champion with Coco Samoa, Brady Boone, Al McGrill, Brad Anderson, Curtis Thompson. He is a six-time North American Northwest Tag Team Champion. He also a Pacific Northwest Television Champion. Wow, this guy, like I said, this guy has won titles everywhere he has been, including Caribbean Heavyweight Champion 2 times, Caribbean Tag Team Champion with Ray Gonzalez 2 times, Puerto Rican Heavyweight title 5 times. He's a WWC Television Champion 3 times, WWC World Junior Heavyweight Champion 3 times, WWC World Tag Team Champion with Rex King, Ray Gonzalez, Lil Ray, Brent Dale, Fidel Sierra, Glamour Boy Shane, and Rico Suave. Rico Suave. He's a 10-time tag team champion in the WWC. See, this guy is a multiple-time tag team champion. Multiple-time champion. This guy is a multiple-time champion everywhere he has been. He is one of the most underrated Cuban wrestlers I have ever seen. Not only did he wrestle in WCW and WWF, he also wrestled in the old Jim Crockett promotion. So this guy is one of the greatest Latin Cuban wrestlers of all time. And as soon as Donovan gets back, I'm sure he's gonna tell you more about Ricky Santana too.
Actually, for the most part, he was an international wrestler, but he wrestled in both WWF and WCW. He was good. He never got.
Oh yeah, he's pretty good now.
He never captured the WWF or WWCW titles. He never captured the tag titles there, but he wrestled there.
Yes, he did. He mostly captured the tag team title in Puerto Rico and all over the world. That's where he mostly held his title.
Mostly in Puerto Rico, Mexico, and a few other NWA promotions.
Yes, that's true. And speaking of international talent, we also discussed this man. One of the original hardcore legends in my book. And since this is Black History Month, let's go to this man. And I want everyone to pay attention to this madman from Sudan, Abdullah the Butcher. So what's your take on this man, Abdullah the Butcher, Donovan?
Oh man, you talk about an international wave across wrestling. There was a man that internationally and on the all around the world was well known. Was one of the innovators, along with Cactus Jack and Terry Funk and Dr. Death Steve Williams, that just absolutely innovated the death match in Japan.
Abdullah the Butcher. Oh my God, oh man, where do we start with this? Where do we start with this maniac? And yes, I use that term loosely. He was simply a maniac inside that ring.
He was. He competed in WCW in some of those wonderful Chamber of Horrors matches that we all like to forget.
Yes. Him and Cactus Jack were a tag team. Oh my God, and they had a brawl. Him and Cactus Jack had some of the greatest brawl in WCW. But outside of WCW, he also had brawls with guys like, here's another hardcore legend that most people forgot about.
Jamie said he's remembered for forking people. He is remembered for forking people.
Yes. Thank you, Jamie, because I'm about to get around to that. Bruiser Brody. Rest in peace to Bruiser Brody. That's another hardcore legend right there, Donovan.
Yep.
Him, Abdullah the Butcher versus Bruiser Brody in Japan was some of the bloodiest I mean, the match he had with Bruiser Brody were some of the bloodiest matches they had in the history of Japan and in the United States. These two guys, I mean, you want to talk about bloody you want to talk about a bloody brawl? Yes. Like Jamie said, Abdullah Butcher always comes. He never leaves the ring without that fork. Always fork to the scab of his opponent, make sure they bleed. And he don't stop there. He just kept sticking with the fork, sticking with the fork.
Stick a fork in them. They're done.
That's Abdullah. But the one of the most bloodiest matches, I'm pretty sure, Jamie, you know about this. Him and Bruiser Brody, man, you want to talk about bloody? Those two guys couldn't stand each other. Because Bruiser Brody never comes in the ring without the chain. And Bruiser Brody been hitting Abdullah Butcher with the chain these two guys had some of the bloodiest matches back in the day too. And then he had bloody matches with the Funk brother in Japan. He also had bloody matches with Antonio Inoki, Giant Baba. I mean, this guy has been in the ring with some of everybody, including, rest in peace, Andre the Giant. He's been in the ring with Andre the Giant. He's been in the ring with, you name it, he's been in the ring with him. Kevin Sullivan. He's been in the ring with Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes. He's been in the ring with the man that called Dusty Rhodes that underrated. Yes, he's been in the ring with the man that stole Mr. Ronnie Garvin. All I got to say is Abdullah the Butcher is one of the greatest hardcore legends of all time. And yes, he is a WWE Hall of Famer, although he never wrestled in WWE. He did wrestle in ECW at one time, when it was Eastern Championship Wrestling, but I digress. I don't know how many titles Abdullah the Butcher has won other than the brass knuckle title. He's a multiple time brass knuckle champion. That's about the only title I can think he won. I don't know if he won a tag team title or a singles title. But all I know is Abdullah the Butcher he's a brute. He's what, 450 pounds every time he goes in that ring. All he does is beat people up with a fork. And like you said, stick a fork in me, he's done. That's the legend of Abdullah the Butcher. What are some of your fondest memories of Abdullah the Butcher, Donovan? And I'm sure Danny got plenty.
Some of my best memories of him were his death matches with Cactus Jack and Terry Funk.
Yeah. My fondest memory was the bloody matches he had with Bruiser Brody.
I didn't get to see those.
I'm telling you, go back to 1980, go back to the mid-80s. Jamie will tell you about it. If you go back to the early mid-80s, in Japan, him and Bruiser Brody had some of the bloodiest matches in wrestling back in the day, man. Yeah, him and Stan and Larry Hansen had some of the bloodiest matches too in Japan. I totally forgot about his rivalry with Stan Hansen. You want to talk about some brawls? You want to talk about some bloody brawls? Him and Stan Hansen in Japan, man.
Oh, I forgot about Stan Hansen. I've seen those matches.
And he also wrestled Bobo Brazil. Abdullah Butcher, he was one of the meanest guys in the business, bro.
Oh, King Kong, or Congo Kong too, except, ugh.
Where you plug it? Where you plug it, huh? Okay. Oh, I see. I mean, what he tell Jamie said about his funny memory of Abdullah the Butcher. I know he got plenty, like I do.
Jamie, what's your fondest memory of Abdullah the Butcher?
I might have to show you one day about him and Bruiser Brody, man, in Japan, man.
I'm waiting on him to give me an answer.
What did Jamie say about his memory of Abdullah? Cause that man, he just... And yes, Abdullah the Butcher did wrestle Hulk Hogan in Japan as well, bro.
Well, we know that. Everybody knows that one. I don't care about Hulk Hogan. Never have, never will.
Me either, but I'm just... I'm trying to think of somebody we're going to talk about next week. But I'm just saying, Abdullah the Butcher, man, he paved the way for a lot of hardcore wrestlers, man. Him and guys like Abdullah the Butcher, Mick Foley, aka Cactus Jack. He paved. I mean, those guys, along with Bruiser Brody, late Bruiser Brody, who paved the way for Mick Foley, by the way. Those are hardcore legends, man.
He said that his Abdullah's feud with Carlos Colon.
Oh yeah, that was a bloody match too. Him and Carlos Colon.
Yeah, I see you, Jamie. It just took a minute. Facebook was lagging.
As they always do.
Facebook being a little bitch.
Yeah, I remember that match from him and Carlos Colon in Puerto Rico. It was a bloody match. I mean, all in all, Abdullah Butcher was an international legend. I mean, the guy, he wrestled in the United States. He wrestled in the United States, but he do most of his work overseas.
He wrestled in the United States, but he never went anywhere with that.
Yeah. I mean, the guy is 78 years old, folks.
And he still wrestles occasionally. That's the bad part. This crazy bastard is still going.
This crazy old bad. I mean, this guy stands 6 foot
And also,
tall.
Jamie.
Tired. Abdullah Butcher just... I respect the man.
Facebook just closed out, just paused the video for no reason.
I mean, let's look at the manager. Let's look at the guys who manage Abdullah Butcher. Gary Hart, #1 Paul Jones, Eddie Croxman, the Black Baron, the Grand Wizard, J.J. Dillon, Damian Kane, Larry Sharp, Chicky Star, Oliver Humperdinck. Man, that's a big one. Those are big names. Oh my God, we got to talk about Oliver Humperdinck one day, bro.
He's on my list of people that we will be talking about one day.
Yeah. Buddy Cope, George Cannon, Bearcat White, Big Bad John, Tony Montana, Gentleman Gentleman Jim Holiday, The Rock Hunter. I mean, when he was in Japan, he spoke for him. Look at it. This guy. He actually won a championship in 1967, bro. He was NWA Canadian Tag Team Champion in 1967.
Tony Montana.
And then he was and plus he had 3 reigns at the IWA.
Jamie says good that it's good that he hasn't passed away carrying the girth. The good Lord has a plan for him. And then he says the Tony Montana makes him laugh.
He had a IWA. He's a former IWA International Heavyweight Title Champion between 1969 and 72, feuding with Ivan Koloff. Whoa! Ivan, the Russian Bear Koloff, bro. That's a big name. And Johnny Regu.
Yeah, I mean, Abdullah the Butcher's done a lot. He's wrestled a lot of big names, but he never got the big push that he deserves.
I agree. I mean, he wrestled a lot of big names. He wrestled against the original Sheik. He wrestled against, I mean, man. He even wrestled against Giant Baba.
Giant Baba. Rest in peace to that man.
Yes, and Jumbo Tsuruta. Man, that was a big name. And you're right. He also had a feud with Terry Funk in Japan. Woo! He was in WCCW in 1986 when he defeated the Great Kabuki for the Texas Brass Knuckle title and waged war against the equally. And now this is what I'm talking about. Remember I told you he had a feud with Bruiser Brody?
Yeah.
This is the first of 3 this guy, him and Bruiser Brody had some of the greatest matches in the World Class Championship Wrestling history, bro.
He's great, man.
And he also wrestled in WCW with Cactus Jack.
Well, obviously, we covered that already.
Yes, we did. He also went in ECW when he was part of a storyline with Funk, Hansen, and Kevin Sullivan. Wow. He even wrestled against the One Man Gang in 1999. Of course he beat him. The match ended in a double count out. He was also in Ring of Honor in 2002 as Homicide partner in a bloody bunkhouse brawl.
Where's Bunkhouse
Buck? They called
Buck?
it Ring of Honor Night of the Butcher.
Where's Bunkhouse Buck?
He wrestled in Ring of Honor with Homicide's tag team partner, facing the Carnage crew in a bloody bunkhouse brawl at Ring of Honor Night of the Butcher.
He says
in
that
2002.
His favorite is the Funker.
Yep. He's talking about Abdullah versus Terry Funk.
Yeah, the Funker.
That was a brawl. But my favorite is basically Abdullah versus the late Bruiser Brody.
My favorite was Terry Funk or Cactus Jack.
We definitely got to talk about Bruiser Brody too, man. His career was short-lived, but man, he had some of the greatest brawls.
And that's why his career was short-lived.
Yep.
I mean, is that it, Tori? We could do the final thoughts, because there is something that I want to I don't want to get rid of Jamie. I love Jamie. I do. I love you having you here. But there's something me and Tori and you probably should go check out. Tori, you got any final thoughts real quick? Closing statements?
Yeah. My final thought is simple. Jamie, appreciate you coming.
Always.
Appreciate your love, brother.
Always.
Appreciate your love, brother.
Jamie,
But,
Jamie, you are basically the on air. You are the typing third host of this show, and I mean that.
Yes, you are. You're like a backup, bro. We need it.
We love it.
In case I miss something, or just in case I miss something, or doesn't miss something, that's where you come in, bro.
Oh hell, I go further than that. I just like having you on the show. Period.
Yes, I agree. And you know what? Keep coming, man. And by the way, if anybody else wants to chime in,
Ralph was here, but he left.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, my final thought is this. Ricky Santana and Abdullah Butcher were great international talent. Both should have got more than what they deserve. That's my opinion about these two guys.
What he means to say is they deserved more than they got. He said they got more than they deserved. They should have got more than they deserved.
Way more than
well,
what
you
they
said
got.
they got more. They should have got more than they deserved. They deserved to get more than they got. You got tongue twisted.
Yeah, I got tongue twisted, y'all. But y'all, thank you for correcting me there.
I'm not correcting
Donovan.
you. I'm just making sure that they. I know what you mean, but I want to make sure anybody listening to this absolutely is good. I'm sorry. You continue, because I got my final thoughts, and they're not going to be what people are expecting.
Well, here's my final thought. These two guys, these two legends, should have gotten more than what they deserve.
Ricky Santana should have got a WWF or WCW title reign. Abdullah the Butcher should have been WCW or ECW champion at some point.
Or IWGP heavyweight champion.
Yeah, that wasn't going to happen.
Japan,
that wasn't going to happen because most of the deathmatch guys didn't really get it too much.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he could.
They had a prominent role, though. They don't get me wrong. They always had a prominent role. They just weren't world champion, but there were other titles that they could have won.
Yeah, they could have got more. All I'm saying is these two guys could have got more than exactly what they deserved.
Japan and internationally, they got everything they deserved. But in WCW and WWF, both of these men were left out of what they could have been. And I mean, Dr. Death Steve Williams was one of the very few, and Mick Foley were the only two out of this class that, because Mick Foley, we all know, went on to win the WWF title and other titles
3 times.
But Abdullah the Butcher, Dr. Death Stan Hansen, Terry Funk, they were all kind of left, with nothing.
Right.
But
these two guys.
But there is one of these guys in their class, Dr. Death Steve Williams, who had a shot and was gonna get something and gonna face the Texas Rattlesnake Stone Cold Steve Austin, and we will talk about him when we get to his career.
Oh, so the next guy we're talking about is Mr. Dr. Death Steve Williams. Because also, next week...
That's exactly what I was going to talk about, Jamie. When we get to his career, we're going to talk about Brawl for All.
And don't forget, the guy that we're going to match Dr. Death with is the guy that he faced a few times, too. And we're talking about you-know-who.
Well, we're going to wait. We're going to wait. We're going to wait because I'm going to announce... We are going to talk about the real legend here because next week I'm revealing who you're going to be talking about. Tori, for the random history block, you will be talking about the second ever, right under Dano O'Mahony, the second ever world champion professional wrestler from Ireland. And that is Steve Casey.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that guy. Steve Casey was a...
There's a statue of him in Sneem, Ireland. He is known as the Crusher. He is the Crusher. Stephen. He's the Crusher. Steve Casey.
I remember him in AWA.
Not Conor McGregor. Terry Gordy.
He was great in AWA though.
Yep. So next week, you're talking about an Irish legend.
And a hacksaw. And not the hacksaw people are identified with. I didn't call him hacksaw.
And the thing is that this man that we're going to talk about defeated the legendary Luthez.
Hey, it's big. Steve Casey. That's a big name.
And yes, he was in the AWA, feuding with Luthez.
Well, that was my final thoughts. So I'm going to go with your final thoughts.
My final thoughts are, we all need to go check out this AEW broadcast that they got going on right now. That's my final thoughts. So without further ado, Jamie, it's been great. I love having you. Like I said, you're like another host on this show. So I'm gonna...
By the way, Jamie, if you got any other ideas, bring it on the show, bro. We'll definitely work with you.
Yeah, we'll definitely squeeze some more shit in next week if you have any ideas. You can always message me offline, and I will let Tori know.
Or you can message
later,
me
Jamie. And for now, for all of you others on listening on recording or Jamie, ta-ta for now.